Hello all, today we are industrialists building the nation of post-colonial India in the game Tycoon India 1981. You'll be using your wealth and promoters to dominate industrial sectors, build plants, sway national policies as you become a tycoon and maximise asset values and influence for the win. Now this one's medium to heavy complexity, plays 1 to 4, takes in the region of 60 to 118 minutes, and we have the designer and publisher there as well. Now this copy provided is a preview with improved production quality and artwork upgrades expected, and there's also a link in the description to the funding campaign. Let's take a closer look. So in today's game, it is myself versus two AI opponents. So I am yellow, and you can see here we've got reds and we have got blues. Now the game comes with these AIPL decks, and they've got various cogs. They've got 1, 2s and 3s. The rule book will tell you how to start those up. So we've got the 1 cogs here and the 2 cogs here for an entrepreneur game. Now the game is highly recommended to be played with 3 and 4 players. So to play solo, you are going to need 2 of these AI decks, which I've set up here, and you can play this game with 2 physical players and add 1 of these AI decks, which I've tried and it works really well. So I've got an overview video and a run through video. I am not going to go over all the rules straight up. Go and watch those to get an idea of what is going on. I really want to just dive straight in. So first few things about the solo game, you've typically got you have got the planning commission cards here. You would have taken out 3 of the Bs as well from the stash. So we've got 2 Bs and an A up there already set. Everything else is pretty much normal. Everyone would have been dealt 1 of these policy cards based on who's the tycoon and taken those in reverse order. We've got the industry cards like normal. You would have got 8 and 12 or 8 or 15 of those in there. And the actual AI players, they are not going to hold money, they are not going to hold promoters, and we'll go through a few other things they can and cannot do throughout the game. So randomly determine who is starting player, and it was me, so I get first dibs over the blue player who was last in clockwise, because I'm the tycoon player, would have had first dibs over where to start on the influence. Now, the AI player always goes for the position with most influence, which would have been 4, and then the blue player went with 3, and I was happy with 1. Now, this is important for us, if you can recall from the overview and run through, is whatever your number is, you minus from 7, and that is your starting promoters. So I went on 1, 7 minus from the 1 means I get 6 of these. So I was forgoing a starting influence for more promoters. And then we go into the new region. So I have gone for the west because I am the tycoon player. Now, tycoon players, see, I've got the card here. I get an extra action. Typically it's 2, but I get 3 different ones, and that will be swapping hands as we go through play, and I'll show you that. So we've done the setup. Then we're going to go to the round 1, which is the round event of policy bidding. So we're competing to get 1 of these 2 here. So I am going to be making a closed bid. There's only myself. So do I really want one of those? I probably want to get my engine going. I've already acquired this particular card here, which is getting me promoters when I do the politics action. And I got some end game bonuses there as well. So I'm just going to bid 2. Now, I'm not really sure what the AI decks are going to play on me. But let's go 2. And then we're going to reveal. So every time you need to make a decision, you reveal 1 of these cards, and you kind of keep a gap to the right there. So let's start off clockwise order then. So we got the red player is bidding 0 for this stage. You can see there's a whole host of actions on here, and you look at the policy bidding and it's going to be 0. This will be used for picking that new region phase, and you can see during the actions various stuff's going to happen here, what they're going to bid on as well. So I'll kind of go through all that, but for now they are bidding 0, and the blue player is bidding a whopping 4. So they are going to be picking the policy card. So they're going to go for a policy card that has the most influence for the politics action. So we can see this one here is going to offer 2. That one's offering promoters, so they go for this card. Now, if there was a tie, they go for the left most. So they add this to their little collection here. Now, I actually spent some promoters as well, and as typically in a normal game, these would go to my strategy action spot because I didn't manage to purchase one of these. We're going to put a promoter on this one to encourage people to get that one next time, which would just be myself. And we reveal the new card. So that was policy bidding, the round event then. Hopefully we get a chance to go through the dividends and revenue and the national project shortly. Next thing then is industry bidding. So starting with the Tycoon player, which is myself, I'm going to look at the minimum asset value, which is 20. So my bid, what have we got? I've got 150 money like normal to start with. And I am going to place my token on, let's just go the minimum, 20. So that's my bid. Now we go over to, we need a decision to occur from our players. So reds are up. We're going to flip a card and we can see here during the policy bidding, they are bidding 0, which means they are passing. Over to the blue player, they have upped the bid by 20. So we are getting the blue one. So I bid 20, they're now bidding 40. Back around to me. Now you have 2 chances to bid. I really want to be Tycoon next round. I'm going to go 45. So the winner of this open bidding here will be not only Tycoon, but get first dibs on these. Okay, so red had passed. Back over to blue. We're going to make their decision. Shall we reveal the new card? They've upped the bid by 20. So from my bid, so 45 to 65. Now that was my second chance to bid. So this is how we end the state of play. So again, they need to pay 65. They have unlimited money. They just pay it to, well, they don't pay anything because they just have as much money as needed. So they are going to get first dibs on here. They take the card with the most asset value. If there's a tie, it'd be the leftmost. So they're going to take this card, pop it to the side of their deck. You may or may not be able to see that in the camera view. And you just keep stashing in there. And as usual, you take a plant and put it on there to show it's unbuilt. Over to me then. So I do have to pay my money. And I have to pay 45. So let's pay that to the bank. And then I get second dibs. So we are going to go. Now, in a solo game, I'm probably looking at these endgame sector favours more so because the AI is going to go up these tracks on some decision making dependent on these, the left first and the right. And that may make more sense shortly. So I'm probably going to want to avoid those because I'll be in direct competition with the AI players. So it's probably, I'm not sure it's the best strategy, but this one will be going up the finance track. You know what? I'm going to go with this one anyway, even though I'm going to be in competition because I want the asset value. So I've acquired this card. You can't quite see my stash, but I'm placing that in front of me and I'm putting an unbuilt plant on there. So like normal, you put a promoter on here and we replenish back up. So that was industry bidding. Now we're over to action, starting with me, the Tycoon player. Now you do not reveal a card this time for your opponents. They will use the card that's face up currently. So where am I going to go? Maybe I'll just play 4. So I've got a few out here. I want to build. So we're going to go, we'll use my action on the build here. So I get to place this plant anywhere on the board. And I should bear in mind the Metro City I chose in the west there. Now I am typically looking at my corporate agenda. I would have got to choose one from 2. I would have got 2 of these and pick one to keep. So mine's industrialisation to build a large number of plants on the map, so you can say get more favour for the end there. And equally your AI players would have had one of those dealt as well. So where are we going? So to build this heavy engineer here, there's costs to pay. You can see I'm going to have to pay the oil to build this. Now currently I've got in there before my opponents. I've managed to get up these tracks. So you can see the cost per level. If there's no one there, it's going to cost me $2 to be able to place this out. So I'm just going to pay my $2 to the supply, get some change, and I am going to go. Which track do I particularly want to go up? I kind of like this end transportation track. There's a bit of everything on there. So let's go for that one then. So we go here, and there's 4 benefits. So firstly, I'm going to go at 1 on this track for the minerals. So that's 1 up there. I'm then going to get 6 influence. Now where's blue on here? I've accidentally taken blue. I think they started on 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've gone up influence. That's 2 of my benefits. I then look at the board itself. So we're going at 1 on transportation. Great. And the benefit for being in the west, irrelevant of where this is, I would have scored that anyway, is 5 money. So I take my money. So I have built this, which is worth 50 asset value, and potentially it will get me revenue during those stages. Okay, clockwise then over to the red player. They've only got 2 actions this round, so we're looking at the card face up. We can see here it's telling us, let's get a closer up for you, to build one of their buildings, and they haven't got any buildings that need building. So we go over to the next action, which is buy a share from the player with the least influence. So we have the blue player who has the least influence. So they're going to take a share from blue. You can see they pay that player typically 30, but there's no money between the AI players, so they just take one of their shares and put it upside down. And we put this action on the actual action we've undertaken there. They don't place them up here like we would. So reds have had their go. Over to blue then. So can they build? Well, yes, because they managed to acquire a plant here. So where are we going to build it? So it needs to be built in the south. Now the white is representing where you start from. So you can see the metro city is in the west. So we start in the west and we have to go clockwise. It's telling us to go, well, anti-clockwise, should I say. And we have to get to the first city that's in the south. So what does that mean then? So we start where the metro is here. We keep following this line, so you can see there's a line going all the way around. And the first city we hit in the south is here. So that is where they're going to build, if that makes sense. So yeah, you can see the white for the metro city, and you go anti-clockwise until you get to the first city in the south. So we're in Margot. Now they equally have to pay their costs. So this card, they're going to have to pay 2 for the player who has the industry leader in oil, and there's no one, so they don't have to pay anything for that. And transportation is myself, so I'm going to get 1 per distance from the regional city. Now that's why this is important, because Bombay is the current regional city, so they're going to be paying me the city itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so they're paying me 4 money. So I just get 4 from the supply, and then they're eligible to build this, which is great. It's getting a massive value, and they're going to get those bonuses just like we would. So they're going to go up 2 on the minerals there, so they go here, and they would get any of these bonuses as well, but they already have unlimited promoters. So that's one benefit. They're going to go at 4 on influence, 1, 2, 3, 4, and remember they go on top, so they actually break ties there. And the other benefits included the spot itself, so they're going to go at 1 on energy, and it was in the south, so they are going to get 1 favour. And we just stash the favour next to them because that may break ties at the end. So they've built a city. I'm just going to pop it up here out of the way. Back around to me then. Okay, so I've got nothing else to build. I may want to go and get some shares cheap early on. Maybe I want to go and spend these 2 here, which politics. Let's go to politics, shall we? So we're going to go up here, and I'm going to activate all of my policy cards. So you can see I've only got the 1, and it's going to get me 2 of these promoters, which I will be needing to try and acquire more. And I also get 1 favour as well for having gone there. Over to the red player then. So what are they doing next? So you don't reveal a new card, you just work your way to the next spot. So advertising, it says here. So you can see on the strategy actions, they're going to go for the leftmost, it says. I may have gone for the rightmost, but it says left in the rules. So they are going to take top share that they have. So we've got this one here, and they're going to turn it upside down, and they're going to place it on here, the leftmost spot. And they don't have to pay the promoters. They are just going to get 4 influence. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that action covers up this one here. Now, if ever that you have no more actions you can undertake, they just do the politics actions. So they look at all their policy cards and then acquire this benefit here. Now, bear in mind, these passive benefits apply to them as well. Just try and recall what they are. So say they had 2 more actions. Maybe they had some of these sort of plus 1s, and maybe they were the Tycoon player. They'd just keep doing the politics action if needed. So blues are up, so we should have put that one on the bill. So next thing they're going to do is politics then. So that's kind of nice for them because they've got 2 politics cards, so they're going to acquire 4 influence for the blue and also get a favour. So 1, 2, 3, 4 up on the blue, And they are nicely collecting that favour there. Back round to me then. Now, I do have an additional action because I was Tycoon player. And it kind of reminds you on here, I have to take up to 3 different actions. The only way I can do the same action again is if I have any of these +1 actions, which are really nice. And you can acquire them on the board. You can acquire them by going here as one of the administration actions under this strategy area. So what am I going to do then? Maybe I want to buy share early before they start spending them. They're already valued at 35. Do I want to muster? Now, muster is kind of nice. I'm going to go muster. So I can take, reminds you nicely on the symbology, 1 to 6 of my promoters and place them on my strategy pool. And then I get a merit card. So I've already got 2 there. I'm kind of aiming to get some of these, bump up the tracks here, which should have, I need 7 out. Or maybe I want to get some more money or policy cards. Very interesting. What we're going to go for. So maybe I'm going to put out, oh, you'd need all of them. That's going to put all 6. Let's put 2 out. Right, I'm not going to play my best strategy today, but I'll aim to get this one here. Now, I've got no more actions, so must have placed my promoters down. I'm going to bet a merit card. So again, merit cards can be attained by the AI player. They just keep them face down and they're worth 10 asset value at the end. For me, though, these are one-time use, and when I play this anytime, it says I can add 2 promoters to this area, which is kind of nice. I've got 4 there. Bump up to 6. Right, I'll keep that handy for now. So everyone has played out their actions. Now, if your opponents had +1s, they would have to use them now, and they're just using for the politics action. So, reminding you, you've also got this emergency loan action up here, which we could get 25 money and get one of those loans that can only be paid at the end of the game. And that's the rounds then. So we refresh. We will take back these. I'm taking back the action ones here. So I will get these. These are all back down. And the new Tycoon is the blue player. So I'm going to hand this to the blue player. So they now have 3 actions there. And I think that is it. Okay, we've moved the round on one. So we've got another policy bid in this round. So to begin with, new region. So the blue player, the Tycoon, is going to have to make a decision. So we reveal this card and we can see they're going to go clockwise 1 spot. So it's currently here. So it's going clockwise. They are activating any areas in the north, which is no one. So that was new region. Over to round event then. So we're doing policy bidding. And it's going to start with the because it's a closed bidding typically in a game, it doesn't go clockwise order, so everyone's going to reveal at once. So I am going to reveal. So do I want to win any of these? So we've got a passive benefit of an extra 1 influencing strategy action. So I'm probably thinking I might lose, but I'm going to bid something because these, if I lose, are going to get added to here anyway. Now, actually, I just recalled that before, when the blue players won that bid with 4 promoters, those promoters actually go to the current Tycoon player, which was me. So I completely forgot about that. So I'm going to take 4 promoters and add them to my stash. So I'm very wealthy for promoters, and promoters in the game represent your managers, your workers who are working hard to, develop your conglomerate and your organisation. So I'm going to go and bid 3. So let's reveal what the other players are bidding. So they need to make a decision. The red players are bidding 2, and the blue players are bidding 2. So I win with my bid of 3. So maybe I should have gone lower on that. Okay, so I've spent my 3, which typically would go to the Tycoon player, which is blue, but they have unlimited promoters. So we are done there. Now I get to pick one of these. I'm going to go for this one here. Not only do I get a promoter on top, but I'm developing my engine to get more promoters through the politics action. We place the promoter on here, reveal the new one, and that was policy bidding. Over to industry bidding. So we reset here. The red one's disappeared. And the Tycoon player is up. So remember, asset value. The lowest is 20, so that's the minimum bid. They need to make a decision. and their industry bidding, you can just about see, is 20. So that means the opening bid is 20 initial, plus the 20 is 40 for blue. Clockwise to me, so I'm going to have a cheeky bid of 45. I have got the money. Reds need to make a decision, and you can see they are up in the industry bid by 10. So the highest bid's 45. That now goes to 55. Back around to blue then. So they are up in the bid by 15. So that is now going to 70. Over to me. This is my last chance then. So if I do bid more than blue here, I will definitely get a card. But the asset values are quite low, 20, 40 and 20. Do I want to go up on aggro or the finance? I'm probably thinking it's going to be a no. I'm going to pass. So I'm definitely going to be out of this, but we have to reveal for red anyway. And they are going to go at 5 on the bid. So red's going up to 75. Okay, that was the state of play. That was important because that now means red players can be Tycoon next round. So I don't get anything, but as a compensation, I will attain 3 promoters because I was last there. Sometimes some of your policy cards might actually give you compensation for being last in the industry bidding. So red then's going to get first dibs. The highest asset value is this one at 40. So they place that to their stash there, put an unbuilt plant. Over to blues then. It's a tie. We've got a 20 and a 20, so they're going to go for the leftmost one. And again, place a building. We put a promoter on here. No one wants microfinance. Okay, so that was policy bidding. Over to the actions then. So the Tycoon player is still the blue player. We leave the card that was up there. We don't flip a new one. So first off then, they are going to bid. Not bid, they're going to build. So we can see here, starting from the current metro city, which is in the north, they're going to go anti-clockwise until they get to the west. So the metro is up here in the north, and we need to get over to here. So they're going to go all the way around the board. And the first city in the west is this one here. So blues are going to go and build there. They're getting a +1 action token, which they'll be using this round. So we place that action on the build. And the card they're building, and this is important for the costs, which you can see is going to require the energy, which they're currently the industry leader anyway, which is blue. Now that could have been very interesting if I'd have been industry leader, because the metro city is in Delhi, and the cost for them would have been, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 would have been paid to me. So that's why it's important to follow the anti-clockwise and clockwise and where the metro city is currently determined. So currently they're the industry leader. They are building that for free. Now what are the benefits? The 4 benefits then. They're going 1 up on this track here, which is the aggro, and that was the blue player. They get 9 influence. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They paid the cost. The actual location we've already took the +1, and the region is 5, but they don't have money. So they have built their second industry. And that was their action. Okay, clockwise then, over to me. So I've only got 2 actions this round, and I have acquired no buildings. So I am going to use my merit card. So that is going to get discarded and allow me to place 2 of these promoters onto here. So that means I've got 6 now. So what do I want to do with the 6? Well, actually, I'm going to go to muster again, and I'm going to place just the 1 on here. And I'm going to take a merit card. So that's going to be my action for now. So this one, get a rebate of 15 money when purchasing an industry card during the action or post bidding. That's very nice. Over to reds then. So they are being told they need to build. So they start with the metro city. Well, they're going to be building in the metro city. Otherwise, you would go anti-clockwise to the closest city. So the metro city is currently in the north. So they are building this one on Delhi. Now, if you haven't seen the overview, the metro city is defined by the city that has sort of 2 lines around it. And you can see, the regions are split by these lines here, and this continuous path across through all the cities going, completely circular there. So that's where they go in Delhi then. And if that spot was full by an opponent, it's kind of reminding you here you're just going to go to the next spot anti-clockwise. So it would have been this spot here. Okay, so the costs then. They need to pay energy. And again, it's going to the blue player, but they don't handle money, so that is fine. They're going to go 2 on the aggro. This is the red player. So 1, 2, they've acquired the benefits going up, so they're going to get a Metro card. And remember, that's just worth 10 asset value to them. They're going to get 7 for red on influence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the location itself, Delhi, means they're going to go up 1 on the finance track, which is great. That's more asset value for them. And the benefit in the north was 1 influence. Now, you don't need the actual token to be there to acquire that. So they get the influence and we store this aside. So that was red build, and then over to blue then. The next action they can do, we can see here, is buying a share. The person with the most industry cards. So we place that on there. Now they've got 2. I've only got 1, which is hiding our camera view. And the red player's got 1 here. So it's clearly they can't buy their own shares. If you're familiar with my overview and run through, you can only buy other people's shares. So what did I say? The most industries. Then it comes down to a tie between myself and the red player. Who has the most influence on here is the red player. So they're going to be purchasing 1 red share. And clearly they don't pay the capital to this player. Okay, over to myself. Now these shares are getting costly, and I feel like they're going to be doing really well. So, but then I had an idea to go to the strategy action and utilize these, which I am still going to pursue. Or am I? Yes. So I'm going to spend my next action to do strategy. I'm going to spend 2, 4, 6, 7 of these. And I can take 1 of my shares, the cheapest one on top, turn it over, and I'm going to cover up 1 of these spots here. So you can see the cost of promoters needed to do that I've paid, and I get to get a bump up now on these tracks. I can either split the 2 or go at 1, 2 spots. Now, knowing that my competitors here have certain industries that may have needed building, I may have gone up a track to try and make the most of the costs that they need to pay. Because they've currently built them, I'm probably looking at my own agenda really, and I'm going to avoid these 2 here. Let's go a bump up on this track. So 1, 2, I'm going to gain a promoter, which I kind of need, and I'm going to get 15 money as well. Okay. Now when you do get to the tops of these tracks, only 1 player can hold that spot, and you can see some nice bonuses. If you ever have all your tokens in across each of the different industries, you acquire 1 of these conglomerate bonuses. If the AI player does that, they go for 1 of these as the most influence, so 12 in this case. Okay, so that was my second action. Over to the red player then. So they're going to be buying a share from the player with the least influence, which is going to be me. So you can see how in a sort of solo game, you might want to get these shares out quickly because you then get more capital for the ones at the bottom. So they acquire my share, and I'm going to get 35 money from the supply. Let's get that money, which is great because it gives me more power during the bidding and more chance to buy shares. Over to the blue player. So they're going to do this last one, which is a strategy action. It's the admin, and it's going to be the industry one here. So it's going to be the one with the highest asset value. Okay, so admin, 1 of the highest. So they are going to take... So again, they're not paying the costs, so they don't pay promoters. Now, typically, if I was to do this action, I would have to pay double the asset value in money. So if I wanted this one, I'd pay 60 times 2 is 120 money to acquire that through the use of this action. But this player is just going to acquire. They don't need to pay costs. So the highest asset value, there's 2 here at 60, so they're going to go for the leftmost. So they have acquired that one. And we are going to place that next to them. That's unbuilt for now. And they've done their action. So coming to myself, I've used my 2 actions. I've got no +1s. So we go back around. Red's used their actions. Blue is still going because they've got this +1. We're going to use that. Now you can see they've reached the end. It's the furthest right. There's nothing else to do. So we do the politics action for them. And the politics action for these guys, as we can see here, they're sort of set collecting these, is going to be 4 influence. You can also see if they don't win an industry bidding, which they did because, well, yes, you can see on the track here they came second, they would have got a merit card as well. And a passive benefit, which is add a free muster to the muster action, which they don't do muster. So they're just going to go at 4 for blue on influence. There we go. So that is all the actions then. So I am just going to replenish these. That can get replenished as well. Okay, so we are cracking on through this. Where are the blues? Are down here. And the reds. So the red player is now Tycoon for the next round. So let's pop this down here. They're going to get 3 actions. And next round. So we are going to have a chance to demonstrate the revenue and dividends and national project. So new region first. The red player is going clockwise. So we're going to the east. There's no plants in there. So we're good. Well, that's good for me. And, well, not good for me, it's neutral. So we are now going to the round events. So first off, revenue and dividends. And you can see this sort of little hand symbol at the top there. So you're going to look at all your industries. So I've only got the 1, and I'm getting the revenue of 25. These guys do not have the ability to take money, so they're not getting any revenue, but they are going to pay, well, I haven't actually acquired any shares. Now, if I did have shares, those players would pay me from the supply. And equally, they do have shares, and they have got one of my yellow shares, so I have to pay $10 to the supply, which would, typically be that player I'd be paying. And to remind you, it's $10 dividends per share in ownership. So, the blue player would get 10 from red, and the red player would be getting 10 from blue and yellow. But because I'm the only player who was affected, I've paid my 10 there. So that was revenue and dividends. Now, national projects then. So you can see up here, in round 3, we're going to start off with the Tycoon player, which is reds. We're just going to take the top card from here and keep it face down for now. So I'm going to sort of keep that out of view. Then it's the blue player, so we're going to do the same for them. And then it's over to me. Now, I have a choice to pay either 3 promoters and or 15 money to acquire 3 influence and 1 favour. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 30 money. So I've done that twice. And I'm going to spend 3 favours. So I'm activating this 3 times, so you can do as many times as you want. So I'm going to go up 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which only breaks tie there. And I'm going to get 3 favour. Now, why did I just take a card for my opponents? Well, what happens is, let me just get my favour, is that they take a card for now. And in round 6, they're going to take another card. And then you're going to reveal both cards. And whichever one has the highest NP here is the actual bump up in influence and favour they are going to attain. Okay, so we have now completed the round event. We're over to industry bidding, starting with the Tycoon player. Minimum asset value is 20, and we're going to need to decide an action here for the red player. They're going at 5, so the reds are bidding 25. Blues are bidding an increase of 15, so they are over to 40. And I'm going to get involved as well. I'm going to go 45. Back around to the red player, who are bidding another 10. Blues final bid. Wow, everyone's in the game today, so they've gone at 15. 5, 10, 15. So do I want to acquire one of these cards? Well, I think so, because my revenue gain last round was pretty shocking at 25. Tricky one. Sometimes if the bidding's going out of control, it might even be worth going here as administration action to acquire one of these potentially cheaper. But I've got a lot of money. and I'm going to up the bid to 75 because equally I want to be Tycoon player next round as well. So everyone's done 2 bids. Now I win. I pay my money. Boom, we've paid that to the supply. I take first dibs, and we are going to go for this one up here because I want to bump up on this track. So I place one of my plants on there. Blue are up next. Highest asset value is this one. And we just place that next to the left of their current property or building, there, unbuilt one. And what we do, we're putting a influence promoter on there. Reveal these 2. Now, red was last. Typically, a player would get compensation of 3 promoters, but they have unlimited. So that was industry bidding and action, starting with the Tycoon player here. So the first thing they're going to do is build. They've got no buildings. So they're going over to this auction, which is sales in the strategy. So they are going to put one of their shares, flip it up, and they're off to the sales tab, which is here, leftmost, so they're covering that one up. Done. This player is going to be building, so they're going to take one of these, which I believe is the leftmost. So they are building then in the west, which is going to be here, and they're going from the metro city anti-clockwise. So the metro city is currently in the east, so they're going to do all the way until they hit the west. The first city in the west is going to be this one here. Now, what costs do they have to place? So energy, which they are the industry leaders, they are going to gain the 4 benefits. 1 bump up here, which is 1 on the influence. They're going to get 5 influence here. 1, 2, 4, 5. They're going to get 1 on the oil track, which no one's on currently. And the actual benefit is 5 money in that region, which they don't need the money. So that was the 4 benefits. They've got another card. Okay, round to me then. I feel like I'm really struggling. So what can we do then? So there's anything I've not demonstrated. We've kind of shown you build. With politics, we've shown you loan. Let's show you loan, just because we haven't tried it yet. So loan then, I'm going to acquire some money, depending on how far I am up this finance track. At the moment, I'm on the default. So I will take 30 money, and I'll take one of these promissory loan cards here, which I can only pay back at the end of the game. And it's going to cost me 50 per one. But more importantly, I get to go up this track now. So if I do want to take a loan, I am going to get 35 next time round. And it's got asset value as well. Over to Reds then. So they're going to do a politics action at the end here. And they are going to get 2 influence for that one for the Reds. So they're beating me again. And they are going to get a favour as well. Let me go and grab a favour. Over to the blue player. They've got 1 more action. They're going to be up by a share of the highest valued. Plus a share from the highest valued. So the highest value is currently these guys at 45. So they're going to take one of those. Now, I should add, I've completely been forgetting for these guys. Every time you buy a share, you actually go up on the influence. So these guys are owed. So blue are owed 2 influence for the first share they acquired. And then when you acquire another share, you get influence for each share, including the one you've just acquired. So 2 for the original one and another 2 for that. So they're going to another 4. The red players in the same situation. So they would have gained 2 for the first one and another 4 for that one. Okay, don't forget that. So that has been done. Over to me, my last action. Right, I've got nothing here. That's frustrating. Maybe I'm going to build. Yes, I've actually forgot I've got an industry that needs building here. So costs then, I need to pay energy to the industry leader, which is blue. Now it's 1 money per distance from the regional metro. Metro is currently here, so that will make an impact as to where I want to build. Now building, you don't have to be adjacent to your previous ones. Now which track do I want to go up? I'm probably thinking I want to go up the red track, but you can see the closest red one is here. And I'm quite well off for money, so I'm going to go up there. I'm going to go to that spot anyway. So what's my cost then? So current metro is here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you include the 1. So I have to pay 8 money, which would go to the blue player. Obviously, I just pay the supply. So I paid that money. I build this one. I'm going at 1 on the red track, which gets me a merit card. I'm going 5 up on the influence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get the bonus where I was. So I'm going up another spot on the red. So that's another 5 influence. And the bonus for where I was, which is in the east, which is another promoter. And I have built transport equipment. Lovely. Over to the red player, who have 1 more action. So they've run out of spots, so they're just going to do a politics action, which is going to get them 2 influence. So they're beating me again. And the blue player has run out of actions. I'm going to call it there, folks. I could go on all day. So that hopefully has given you a really good demonstration of how the AI player is operating based on these cards. Now remember, when you get to round 6 here, you would have just drawn another one of these. You'd have looked at both and you'd have gone with the higher. So this player would have gained 6 influence and 2 favour. Once we work our way through the rounds and we get to the end, we would have done exactly the same here. I'll get a bit of a close-up. So you can see you're going to do all the asset values. So you'd add up all the industry asset values you can see on all these cards. Whoever had the highest would then acquire the most worth for their company. So you can see 60 here for the first and working your way descending. So you get influence, well, you get asset value from the sector tracks as well. So you can see asset value on this one here, and there's some sort of sporadically around on the transportation track as well. Merit cards, the AI are going to get 10 asset value for each one of those. Any unpaid loans, which would just be myself. If I hadn't managed to pay this, I'd lose. So whoever's the winner of this one, and if the same player or the same AI player wins influence as well, then they've won the game. If it comes down to a tie, you add up all your favours. So influence, then you're looking at the influence track itself. You've got planning commission cards up here, which I haven't even sort of read out, but those are things you're trying to aspire to attain. Industrial policies have influence as well. And then if you haven't paid loans, which will be just applying for me, I'd have a loss there as well. So if there was a tie, if I win one of these and my opponent won those, we come down to all that favour, which can be acquired from the actual policy cards themselves. You've got the end game sectors here, and you've got the policies worth as well, and corporate agendas, which were hidden under here. So you'd look at those and see if they've acquired more there. Now, if you get to the top of one of these tracks here, then the player, if they need to go up on, well, that's what these were for here. So let's say the blue player had gone up all the way here for some reason, and they needed a bump up on this particular track, again, because of a benefit they've attained. They can't actually go up on it. So what they do is they look at the leftmost sector favour, which would be minerals, so they'd go up that one instead. If they reach the top of that one, then they go to the next one, which would have been the oil here, so they go up here. And if ever you get to the top of all tracks, you know, you're required to go up this track, and there's nothing left to go. They just forego their turn in terms of going up, if that makes sense. So we keep going. Yep, the winner of this one and the ties from favour will be the winner. And that is it, folks. That is the AI player. Now, as I say, you can add these decks, mix and match them. There's different strengths to them. I've tried the 2 cogs and some of the 3 cogs in a 2-player game, and it mimics it really smoothly, and it gives you a good flavour of a 3-player game as well. Just keeps it interesting with, you know, what sort of promoters they're going to be bidding for policy bidding. All of a sudden the industry bidding goes at 15. Where are they going to build, and are you going to be successful in acquiring, you know, money from the costs that they have to pay when they build? So very smooth, and hopefully that gives you a really good demo there. Enjoy.